In the early hours of this morning, did we see an end to the crypto correction? And now are we resuming the bull run? I discussed that in this video, and I also discussed some of my best picks if we have resumed to make the highest multiples with the smallest amount of risk. Hello everyone, so let's start with Solana first of all, and some of the other major coins as well. By the way, if you're new and you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel. What's interesting about the move we saw overnight, and this is the same reason why I've jumped back in, we saw a new low. That's really important. When you have any kind of correction going sideways, if you manage to break the previous lows, so let's say this is an ABC, then this could indicate that the correction is over. The only other possibility is we get a long drawn out correction. I'll discuss that in just a minute. But with Solana, you can see very clearly, we broke the lows we saw after that panic sell on the 3rd of January. We broke below that, and now we're pushing off in a kind of strong manner with a lot of momentum. What can you see at the bottom there as well? Breakout in volume. Exactly what I've been saying in recent videos. Break below the lows and a breakout in volume. Both good signs. Now, what are the other options here? I'm going to discuss that in a minute as well. But look at Solana. So it had the correction down, so zigzag down, and then it looks like another zigzag down as well. So we could be done. Now, in terms of total percentage down from the high, we're looking at all the way to the lows of 32%, a very reasonable, appropriate correction for an altcoin that could be on a long bull run. As I've mentioned before in my videos, I like to check other altcoins as well for confluence. And what can you see here? AVAX. First of all, off the highs, we were down 37%, very appropriate correction. We're back to the support levels we saw here. So at the very low, we were at 31. And again, I mentioned that in a recent video, and we've just tagged that support level here. Yes, absolutely, we could have moved lower. It's hard to predict exactly which support level we're going to fall on when we move further down. But what's the important part? That low, it's been broken through. We broke through that low. Not that much volume on AVAX to be fair, but still, the potential is there. So the next thing we need to do is we need to draw the trend line down, and we need to break out of that downtrend. And I'm making this video just to show you guys that it's important to get into these moves as early as possible, but also not so early that we've not got confirmation. So if you're a trader like me, it's okay to jump in and just watch the position very carefully. If you're a very conservative investor and you don't have time to just keep checking the charts, you want to wait for confirmation. Confirmation is usually, typically, when we break through this trend line, find support here, and then break that previous resistance and move on from there. So this is a safer entry, S for safe. Right now, where I'm buying is a much more riskier, especially if you can't keep an eye on it. But what's the good thing, even if this is a further corrective move? The good thing is basically this. If this is all like a counter trend move, because remember, we've got lower highs and lower lows. It's technically a short-term downtrend. If it's a counter move, then what we might see is all of this being corrected, and we go back up to here, and then we move down from there. But again, as a trader, what's really good is you can profit from this move up, and then if things are not working out, you can cut your losses here or your gains and sell right here and let the market move out and wait on the sidelines and see what happens. However, if we do move up from here and then we move up very, very strong, then you don't need to worry. And remember, I'm sharing this regardless of Bitcoin ETF news or where we're at, because it doesn't matter. Everything is on the charts. Keep an eye on the charts. That will tell you what you need to know. Don't get drawn into these narratives. So I've talked about AVAX and Solana, and they're going to do decently well. And I'm involved in Solana, not particularly AVAX right now, because I don't think it's going to move as strong as some of the other coins. So I've got a small amount in Solana. But the ones that I think are going to move really well are the ones I already discussed in recent videos. So you should already be aware. And if you're not, make sure you go and watch those videos. So one of them was Injective. This is going to be one of the better coins for 2024. It's going to outperform. It's going to be like Solana was a couple of years back. So this is one of them, already up from the lows. You can see with Injective, they've broken out of this trend line here. Now, if it takes out these highs, is obviously very bullish. And if you've gotten in early, there's a breakout of volume as well. And if you're in early, then even this slight move up is still some gains. But the only issue here is, what is the alternative? This could turn into a larger flat correction. If we get resistance here at the highs, or even just break through a little bit and pull back, what can happen is this could be a 3, then another 3, and then a continuation. So it could be a longer correction sideways. No guarantees and no way to know for sure yet. And apart from Injective, the other stronger ones, one that's not really moved yet because it was probably moving so much while everything else was correcting, one of them is SEI. I'm watching this one very, very closely. It's only up 2% today, but in general, it's been very, very strong all the way up to the high we saw when everything else was crashing on the 3rd of January. And this one's not come down too much, but still, it's a good 33% even off the highs. But generally, since that low, it's still above that low actually. So we could get more correction. It's not clear. I'm not involved in SEI at the moment because I'm just watching it very carefully to see what happens. Another one, an old school one. Generally, older school ones I don't like too much because the moves are not as strong, but this is significant. If you have a look at Link, all the way back to 12th of November, this three-way move down and this very likely three-way, very corrective move up, we finally broken those lows. Notice on the 3rd of January, we didn't. So this was the low we printed, 12.8. On the 17th, we weren't below here. So this was still above. Now we've printed a brand new low and we move off. So I'm got a small position in Link as well, just to see if that's the end of the correction. Very, very early yet. We're breaking through this trend line. Again, it might just all be continuing correction. There's no way to know 100% sure. We could move up in a 3 and then back down again as well. No way to know for sure. Have to watch it very carefully. A safer entry would be much higher, or even once we've cleared all-time highs. That would be the absolute safest entry, where it's very established bull run, but you may miss out on 20% or so. Metis, another one I really like and I'm involved in. So basically this one, now the correction is probably a little bit more shallow overall, not much at all, 28, 29%, but still healthy enough for a smaller cap coin. Probably the smaller ones, especially the ones that have moved a lot, is sometimes you get large corrections like 40, 50%. You just have to be a little bit careful with them. But likely the final move was actually here on the 2nd, so it's only been correcting since then. And again, important thing, we broke that low. So this could easily be the end of a flat correction. No guarantees, of course, but something to look out for. We've got the trend line there that we need to break through. Watch out for fake kind of moves above and then a sudden crash down. This could easily turn into a larger sideways flat. But the volume is decent, nothing incredible. It's kind of consistent with volume we've seen recently, so no massive breakout volume, but decent enough. But here, when we move through here, we really need the volume to keep moving up. That's what we need to sustain a breakout here. Another one I'm watching is not really moved off the lows, and this is TIA. Now this one was another one like SEI, which actually went on to do all-time highs when everything else was crashing. So very bullish movement in general. But then the top could have been here, and whether this is the entirety of the correction, we don't know for 100% sure. So how would I look for whether that's the end of the move? I would look for divergence here. We don't always see that with crypto. I would look for higher volume. There is a little bit higher volume coming in, and it's the move off the lows. Is it impulsive looking? This one, nowhere near as good as some of the other coins. That's why I'm not involved at the moment. This move, a little bit sketchy. It could be a nest moving up, and we get support here, and then we're on the brink of a massive move up, but it's looking a little bit too sketchy. So I'm just watching TIA at the moment, to be honest. Render, another one that's moved strong off the lows. So if we just zoom out here on a 4-hourly, we can see that in general, it could have been an expanded flat actually, the move here. But in general, the correction of the highest point is about 36%. Very good, very healthy. Could it be the end? We don't know. It's broken out of this first downwards trend line already. Little bit of volume, nothing incredible. The other thing I would check usually now on the way up is fib levels. I would check to make sure even off this swing high, are we past the 0.5 kind of, but the 0.618 is more important. You want to move through the 0.618 on the way back up, because that's if we're going to have another dump, that tends to be a very common place where price moves to and then dumps back down. So if we break through that, it's very bullish. We get through the 618, we break downward trend line, we break all-time highs. This is all very bullish as long as it's supported by volume. So that's it. Which one do you think is going to perform the best from 2024? Comment below. Thanks for listening.